All right, Bubs. I'm afraid you're gonna have a seat. Just have a seat. It's all right. Gotta have a talk. Gotta have a tough talk. Well, it's me. It's your old Sam. It's your old Tolstoy, with my discount Wolverine looking ass up in here. Just trying to get my lighting balanced on a really gray day, and trying to think of any other video that I can make besides this one, because I don't want to confront this. I've just been really demotivated to make any kind of content recently, and anything that I attempted, even for the past few months, has kind of failed. I went out with my adventure partner and we tried to find a ghost town somewhere on the border of North Carolina and Tennessee.
What? This is like a one-way road. That what if someone else is coming down? Oh, well, yeah. I don't know what we're doing. Well, the issue is that Subaru that was ahead of us has to be going somewhere. Yep. It's been telling us to make a U-turn for a while. Yep. But I don't know about that. Looks like it's leading us right back to the road we were Oh, you think it goes in a giant loop and that's what happened to that couple? Like one in the Subaru? They went in a giant loop and then they looped in front of us. They might be looking for the same shit we are. And in which case, in accordance with the rules of Uncharted, we have to fight them. And I guess I'm just going to start off with a standard 9mm. Is that what we're doing? Where the hell are we? Oh. Where did that van go? What do you mean? Yeah, they headed straight, but they had all-wheel drive, so I think they were taking this shit a lot better than we were. Okay, well, we've been kind of like going through some country back roads out in the Appalachians, like looking for some sort of ghost town that my buddy dug up on an interesting website that I should probably look into. And well, of course, when you rely on GPS and it's a very, very old, long forgotten place with no remembered roads going through it, it's kind of hard to pinpoint the exact location. He parked down below where he actually somehow has a signal, and he's checking through stuff. I found this little gate here. Why does my face look so fucking fat? God damn, dude. Anyway, fuck this club.
Yeah, that's how that turned out. Tried to get some footage at the climbing gym using the little discount GoPro camera, and I kind of used its case to jerry-rig something to my harness, and, well, as you can imagine, it just swung all over, hanging from my ass. Didn't look good. Yeah, I tried. I even wanted to make a review of this book, How to Change Your Mind. It's about science and the possible therapeutic value of psychedelics. Found it really interesting, but it's not something I feel safe talking about. Every day I'm finding out that more and more the users that I like are disappearing. That's really bumming me out, man. I even spent $20 on a Crash Bandicoot figure. I just thought it'd be something quirky and easy and funny to make, like a grilled cheese sandwich, and I could just pass that off, and maybe that would entertain a few people for a little while, you know. What really got me back into YouTube and making these stupid videos was the hiking I was doing around North Carolina, out in the mountains, you know, to the west. And I remember thinking, like, some of these sites were just so beautiful, there's no way that I couldn't just bring this to people, you know? I felt the need to share it. And I guess that kind of got me back into it, but I told myself it's okay if you just do nature reviews and you don't talk about much else, but that's the thing, you know? You can't always make it back out to the mountains. Sometimes life just happens, and it's still happening, and I'm not even going to pretend that this has not been a dark winter for me, but, you know, life gets in the way, and so you think, well, you still want to bring people content because they're responding positively, the few that are left or the few that YouTube still allows to see my content. And so you think about making other kinds of videos, and you skirt the line as best as you can, but sooner or later you think, I'm running out of road here. Like, one of the most coolest and recent comments, I was actually thumbing through all the comments at a friend's house, and it was really weird. He congratulated me on being sober, and I'm like, cool. And he's like, I used to do heroin, and I was like, man, Tolstoy videos and heroin, I am very sorry to hear about your life. And he's like, have you ever read The Gulag Archipelago? And as I was reading this out loud, my buddy was like, hey, I have a copy. Here, read The Gulag Archipelago. So I'm taking your advice, man. Reading this really horrible, depressing Russian book. And, I can't help but notice the parallels in between now and then. It's bad. And, ironically, in the very beginning, this, Alexander Solzhenitsyn. I'm very sorry. I can't do Slavic names. I know, the irony. Shut up. Anyway, the writer talks about, like, well, you know, if in the beginning when we saw this coming, everyone just hadn't have been a little bitch and maybe had stood up, if the secret police had thought for even a moment when they were leaving that night to go do arrests that they might not make it back, even one of them, we might have averted the 20 million dead. Well, what have we got now? You can't even... And then I'm having such a hard time filming this because I'm getting so aggro so quick. Doesn't help that I just came from the gym and had me a good dose of that there creatine. Yeah. You know, I come home and I use YouTube as my source of news, you know, because it is free and unedited, and I can't even mention the users that I'm talking about when I say that because I fear that that's gonna... I don't have freedom of association anymore. That's ironic. There's a bit in this where it's talking about all the people that went to the gulags. It's like I haven't even gotten past the chapters where everyone goes to the goddamn gulags. Fucking everyone goes to the gulags, man. Anyway, and there's some lady who her husband was, I think, a czarist guard during the, you know, the last days of the czar, and he was sent to gulag, of course, because he go to gulag. She, just because she was married to him, was under suspicion, but she tried to live her life anyway, and she started like a little ladies' hair salon. But then she go to gulag. Guess who else got to go to gulag? Every person who went to her fucking salon. They're just people who wanted their hair done. Like, fuck. And I look at these users and I watch their content while they're still up, while I still have the ability to see their content, and they're not painting a pretty picture of anything. And it's just like, it's getting darker and darker by the day. And I just think to myself, so you're just gonna do nothing with what little voice you have, but review action figures and books, because you can't even make it out to parks anymore. And you have no idea how little that makes me feel. And how much I just want to get on stage and just say some really, really inappropriate things. Inappropriate. The truth. How much I want to say things that are true. That's what it is. You can't say what's true anymore. You know? They're disappearing because they just say things that are true. Anyway, it's New Year's. I got some places to be. I thought it would be cool to make any other video besides this one, so I could try to keep things positive. That's another struggle that I'm going through. I liked making reviews of climbing gyms and parks and action figures in comic books because it's simple and it's fun and I can pretend to be upbeat. I'm more upbeat than I used to be. It really, really helps to hit the gym every single day. I wish I could be outside in the great, among the trees and the mountains. That, I mean, scientifically speaking, bumps your serotonin. Hell, I would recommend other things that have definitely helped me cope, but I can't. I just can't. I can't talk about things. And I tried writing a script. I wrote a script. I was just like, maybe if I handle it like an adult, if I just, instead of ranting like a little caffeine-addled, teenager, maybe if I write it out and I really try to make myself coherent, it'll come across better and legitimate. And I'm just like, do you think you'll do better than those other people whose arguments are 1,000 times more legitimate than yours against things that are... And no matter what, they still got banned, so... And no matter what, they're still finding ways to cut their revenue or to shadow ban them. And that's a whole other can of worms. Right as I get on Patreon, now we're having trouble on that, and I don't even want to get into that, but I'm sure you probably already know about it. So I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, man. I would like to move past all this and just make fun videos about, mountain biking or river rafting. I'd like to talk about psychedelics and Eastern pantheist philosophy. But I feel like that's exposing myself too much, and it's like, well, I don't know. And the other part of me is like, well, what do you have to lose? Like, I think as long as I stay pretty neutral, the worst that could happen is that my channel gets blocked. But is that even true? Is there any neutrality left? If you just own a hair salon, are you going to a death camp? The answer is yes. Yes, you are. And do you know why? Gulag! Because you go. Everyone go to Gulag. And it's just frustrating keeping all of that inside and then trying to make wacky reviews about fucking action figures. I'm also stretching myself too thin. I feel like I don't have a coherent narrative that I represent. Like, my channel's all over the place, and at least before I was going through phases of things. It's like I went through comic book phase, I went through, airsoft phase, I went through action figure phase. You know what I mean? But it's like now it's just like any video, you have no idea what I'm going to upload. I know I've been slacking with the vids. I really wish that I could bring you the kind of content that I was bringing to you back when the summer first started. And by the way, this is not an egotistical thing, like, back then I was getting way more views and I was such a celebrity. Like, no, I didn't think that, but it was the stuff that I wanted to show you. If you don't want to watch, that's fine, but I want to put out those kind of vids. You know what I mean? Like, just editing footage, leftover footage that I had of me walking through the forest near Tennessee or whatever gave me a little bump of serotonin. I can feel it in my brain that just looking at wilderness makes me feel better, I was really hoping that the footage of the climbing gym would turn out, but it did not. Getting the footage was still fun. I managed to climb a 5'9". I was pretty happy about that. We could go over how, like, the difficulty fluctuates, but that's a whole other video in and of itself, and I just don't know if it's appropriate to bring it to you while this time of present darkness. I don't want to sit here and be a denialist and be like, oh, everything's fine on this website and with our country in general, because it's not. Anyway, thanks for listening to me rant. I hope you guys have a good new year. Like, comment, and subscribe, and please go to my Patreon and give me money. I'm very sorry for asking. But if you do, I can buy more stupid shit, and then I can keep making videos because I can't talk about anything fucking real. And you know it!